happy to be here today. Just share my screen for the presentation. Okay, so thank you, Gilbert. My name's Setti. I'm the CEO of Taat Lifestyle and Wellness. And to put it simply, we make the best alternative to smoking a tobacco cigarette in the market today. Now, before we start, some forward-looking statements. And I think we'll start with a bit of a video, just give you a bit of an overview of the company and actually show you a couple of the commercials that we've been airing in the United States thus far.
For legal age smokers, this experience is beyond expectations, and that's why we call it Beyond Tobacco. Beyond Tobacco is nicotine-free and tobacco-free. Our patent-pending refinement technique makes Taat taste and smell just like tobacco. This is Taat being produced by a major cigarette manufacturer in preparation for its launch in the United States. This is your opportunity to invest in a company that will capture market share in the $814 billion tobacco industry.
So those are a couple of the commercials that we've shown in the United States. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. And I'll take you through a little bit more about the business today, just to kind of give you an overview of what it is that we do. So this sort of gives you the highlights of the things that we'll be talking about today. So Beyond Tobacco, how this product and company is scalable, the consumer dynamics that we have in place, how we're planning to roll out in the United States, an ethical marketing approach, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is give smokers a better alternative. So we're trying to solve an existing problem in the market. We're not trying to create a new one by attracting people who don't smoke to our product. We've got an extraordinary management team and win-win economics that I think everyone throughout the chain will enjoy. Now, just to give you a little bit more background on me, so I came from Philip Morris, and while at Philip Morris, I spent a lot of time working on their alternative product called IQOS. Now, what I learned about the consumer profile and smokers as a whole is that smokers are all looking for a better alternative. I've worked with thousands of them, and 75 to 80% of them have tried a vape. Yet, when you take a look at the nicotine market, especially in the US, you find that the number of smokers still outweighs the number of vapors 20 to 1. So if you have all of these people who are smoking that have tried vaping, yet they're all still smoking, it tells you a couple of things. One, the vaping doesn't work extraordinarily well for them. And two, smoking is the preferred delivery mechanism. Now, from this work, we also try to understand what is it about smoking that people like, what is it about smoking that people don't like. And one of the things that smokers absolutely hate is the fact that they're addicted to nicotine, okay? Nicotine as a drug is probably the most useless drug in existence. It does nothing. You know, a lot of people smoke because they think they go outside, they have a cigarette, calms them down. Smoking doesn't calm you down, right? The reason smoking calms you down is because you're in a state of withdrawal. Nicotine, when it's consumed, spikes in your blood and lasts about 45 minutes. After that, you start to feel edgy. Then you want to go out for a cigarette and it calms you down. The act of smoking isn't it. It's the taking you out of that state of withdrawal. So when we're looking at this whole thing, we said, okay, smokers like smoking, but they don't want to be addicted to anything. Can we give them something that would be better? And that's exactly what we've been able to create. Beyond Tobacco here. Now, Beyond Tobacco is a filler that we use that does not contain tobacco and it does not contain nicotine. What we've been able to do is take a proprietary blend of plants, one of the primary ones being hemp, and we figured out how to engineer it and process it in a way that it will express the properties of tobacco without it actually being tobacco. So think of Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat did a great job of creating a meat alternative that tastes and behaves like meat, but isn't meat. And that's what we've done here with Beyond Tobacco. So once we figured out how to do this, we applied for patent on it because it was a novel thing that nobody had ever really done before. And Taat is the brand that uses Beyond Tobacco. So Taat is the brand of cigarettes, for lack of better words, that uses Beyond Tobacco, and we deliver that to the market. And when smokers try the product, and we've run a number of market research studies on this, they find that it is nearly identical to a cigarette, if not better, and that they enjoy smoking Taat more so than they do a cigarette. And that's because of the CBD that we're able to deliver. So what we've done is effectively replaced an addictive, useless drug called nicotine with a much more effective molecule called CBD that is non-addictive. The value proposition we're selling to consumers is that we can still give you the thing you enjoy doing, but also give you the freedom to choose. Because when it comes to smoking a cigarette and you're physiologically dependent on that drug, you don't have the freedom to choose. With Taat, you do. And I think for the population of smokers, which is immense, that is an extraordinary value proposition that not a single tobacco company or a single vape company is providing to the market. Now, how are we going to compete? First of all, we have a very innovative product. The other thing that we're able to do is offer this to smokers at a price point that is significantly less than any of the other leading cigarette brands. Now, the way we're able to do that is that Taat is not subject to the same marketing restrictions or the same excise taxes that tobacco is subject to, primarily because it doesn't contain tobacco, and that's how those restrictions are typically written and levied. So we're able to pass those savings on to consumers to give them an even stronger value proposition to use Taat, above and beyond the fact that we're going to give you a much better product that isn't addictive. We've also gone out and secured trademarks in over 50 countries. And as I had previously mentioned, we're really trying to leverage a lot of the success that Beyond Meat has had. And when I think of things like Beyond Meat is a veggie burger, right? The world didn't need another veggie burger, but they figured out how to repackage it and process it in a way that was significantly more appealing to people who were looking for meat alternatives. And they've done a tremendous job. And I think that we can do the same. Now, a lot of people don't understand or think about how big this market actually is, right? Even when I was working at Philip Morris and I talked to some friends, they said, well, who still smokes? Well, a lot of people still smoke. There's almost 1.3 billion people in the world who smoke. That's 15% of the population. And if you take a look at the US alone, the US alone is 75 billion US a year in tobacco sales. Globally, it's approaching $1 trillion a year. So there's still a tremendous amount of opportunity in this marketplace. And you have a captive audience of people who are proactively looking for better alternatives, but they haven't been able to find it. And I think that Taat provides exactly what it is that they're looking for. Now, and when you take a look at some of the numbers, when you're looking at a market this big, typically in the tobacco industry, a successful brand would have about 0.5% market share, which isn't a lot. Now, when you apply that to the US, you're looking at almost $400 to $500 million a year when you're capturing 0.5%. So that's half of 1% market share, which means 1 out of every 200 smokers would buy and use Taat. We've conducted some market research. We put out some of those results yesterday. and we ran in-home studies with a number of smokers, and what we found was surprising. I mean, when you kind of look at it and say, okay, we're trying to capture 0.5 share, and when we give it to actual smokers, almost 75% of them said that they would absolutely buy this product. I mean, that's a significant increase from the 0.5. That's 150 times more than what we thought. So I think that this company is very much poised for tremendous growth and exponential success. Now, what is it that smokers actually want? One thing that I came to understand while I was at Philip Morris is that smokers don't typically like investing in their smoking habit. And you can see by the numbers here that over the last number of years, smokers have been down trading. They want to spend less money to get the same effect. And that was one of the main reasons why we looked at pricing Taat the way that we did. We wanted to offer smokers the most affordable option with the highest value proposition to gain share as quickly as possible. And even if you take a look at it from the vaping standpoint, because a lot of people think, well, everybody now has moved to vape, and that's not true. What's really happened is you had a bit of an exodus from tobacco. People went into vape. They typically stay there. If they're smokers, they'll stay there for about 3 to 6 months, and then they end up migrating back to smoking. Again, it tells you what the preferred delivery mechanism is. And where I think vape actually captured share was predominantly from people who never smoked in the first place, or from people who had already quit smoking that they were able to get back into the category. Those are two things we're not looking to do. What we're looking to do is offer a better solution to an existing marketplace of smokers. And that's why I think we can confidently say we're here to help solve a problem and not try to create a new one by getting more people into the category, when if you don't smoke, you probably shouldn't start. But if you do, we want to be able to give you that better alternative. Here's how Taat is kind of made. So basically, we have a primary manufacturing facility in Las Vegas. That's where we take our hemp and other biomass and combine it together and blend it and engineer it to the point where it will express the properties of tobacco. From there, we send it off to our secondary manufacturing in the United States, and they roll it and package it like a cigarette. And then once that's complete, we send it off to the normal distribution channels that would exist for tobacco to get placed in convenience stores. And that's really the primary channel we're trying to tackle. We want to be able to provide this product to consumers in the point of sale where they're going to buy cigarettes. And that's predominantly in convenience and gas. And that's really where we've been trying to gain traction over the last couple of months. Now, more recently, one of the partnerships that we were able to sign is a company called Crossmark. Now, if you're not within the industry, it might not mean a whole lot, but what I can tell you is this: Crossmark is one of the premier sales organizations in North America. They already service approximately 100,000 convenience stores in the United States and represent brands from Mars, Mondelez, Ferrero, Procter & Gamble, Unilever. They work with Fortune 100 companies and act as their sales agents in these channels. One of the key companies that they did an extraordinary job with is a little brand called Juul. So they came on with Juul after about 12 months of them being in existence, and were able to grow their sales to 1.6 billion within 18 months. So we're hoping that we can do something similar with Taat. They were very excited about the partnership as well, and we've kicked off a program with them now where they're going out and looking at getting this product into their network of convenience stores and wholesale distribution channels. So where we started is in Ohio. Now, a lot of people ask me, why would you start in Ohio? So I can tell you, when Juul launched, and again, you got to remember, we're launched in the middle of a pandemic. So there's certain things that we weren't able to do that we otherwise would have done. But when Juul launched, Juul initially launched in San Francisco, Miami, New York, and Akron. And Akron kind of stands out a little bit from the other 3 cities, but Ohio tends to be a market where a lot of CPG companies or consumer packaged goods companies tend to launch their product, get the consumer learning they need, and then from there, once they build out sort of their consumer journey, they're able to start expanding, because Ohio happens to be a phenomenal test market. Ohio actually over indexes on the number of smokers. It has one of the highest smoking incidence rates in the United States. And to put it in context, if you take a look at Canada, Canada as a whole has 4 million smokers across the country. Ohio, as one state, has 2 million smokers. So the one state of Ohio has half as many smokers as the entire country of Canada. And that's also one of the reasons why we wanted to go, because we thought we had a very captive audience there, and a high concentration of who our target audience would be. And then from there, we'd be looking to expand into a number of the surrounding states and some of the other key states in the United States. Now, one of the things that we've also been able to do over the last couple of months is really enhance our digital and e-commerce. So we launched e-commerce middle of February, and we saw a tremendous amount of traction in the initial days. We've been getting consistent traffic to the site. And one of the things that we've been focusing on over the last little bit is a program where people can come and register, and we will send them a free pack for them to try. Now, we take a very responsible approach to this. We actually have an age verification software that we use on the site to ensure that we're only sending products to people who are 21 years of age or older. We're doing a great job of trying to target people digitally who are actual smokers, and we use a proprietary ad exchange that allows us to put some of those filters on so that we can get ads to legal age smokers and basically bypass people who wouldn't be smokers or who wouldn't be of age. And I think that that is something, again, it sort of speaks to how we're trying to do this in the most responsible way possible, because we don't want to create a new problem. And I think overall, we started the e-commerce, or we started the website for Taat, I believe it was November. And from November to date, we've had over 140,000 unique visitors to the site, which, you know, in a very short period of time, I think is a tremendous number of people who've been exposed to the brand and are able to talk about the brand to people they know, you know, if they're smokers, or to people in their networks they know who are smokers. And we're building a lot of programs to help socialize the brand and get it to the right people and in the right hands. And that's what the free pack is intended to do. You know, a smoker of Marlboro will smoke Marlboro, but they're not really going to go out of their way to pick up a pack of Camel one day randomly. If we can give them that stronger value proposition and give them the opportunity to try the product, I think it'll speak for itself. And we've seen that through market research, where of the people who said that they really liked the product, about 2 weeks later, we polled them again, and about 80% of them were still buying Taat. So it really becomes an exercise in getting the pack in hand of as many smokers as possible, because we think once it's in their hands and they're trying it, they'll prefer Taat to whatever brand of cigarette they're smoking.
Setti, you may like to wrap up pretty soon.
Sure thing. Well, I'll give you just so this is just a bit of a rundown of what we've been able to achieve over the last few months. I think we've moved extraordinarily quickly. This is the management team. We've got a tremendous management team, a wealth of experience. Same thing goes for our advisory team. I mean, collectively, we've got probably over 100 years of tobacco experience across everyone. So I think we really have a great understanding of the market. Now, this one particular slide here, basically what this means is we've got win-win economics everywhere. We give the consumer a great value proposition. We give retailers and distributors enhanced margins to anything they would be able to make off of selling cigarettes. Taat, in turn, can also enjoy tremendous margins. And because of that, I think our investors will be very happy with how the stock will perform over the next 12 to 18 months. This is how we'll be measuring success. And I can tell you that since I've been here, and I started in August, we've successfully been able to raise over $20 million. The bulk of that came from an investment from Ms. Debbie Chang out of Horizons Ventures, who really saw that this is something that is a tremendous opportunity and can solve a lot of problems for a lot of people around the world. So sorry to rush it at the end, but I'd be more than happy to take any questions you guys got.
Hi, Setti. Maybe I just get in time to put in one question because we're running out of time here already. Just was one question from Madrid long time ago, a few 15 minutes ago. So, how are you? Any plans for conquering the EU market, or you have over there? Do you need to adjust any tastes or varieties in your product if you are doing so?
I think there might be some announcements coming out over the next couple of weeks, but it is something that we've been looking at aggressively over the last little while. And I mean, I guess the best I can tell you is stay tuned, and hopefully you'll read something you like in the next couple of weeks.
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Setti, for your time. I think we are a few minutes overrun, but I'll let you go. We have quite a lot of questions, but we'll forward to you after the show, so help answer them. So thank you again for being here to update. Have a great story here.
Thank you, Gilbert. I appreciate it.
Thank you.